What's good, y'all? Back with another NBA 2K mobile video, and in this video, we're gonna be ranking the power forwards. I believe this is episode 4. Yeah, this is episode 4, and you already know the criteria. We break it down in 6 categories. It goes from great, almost great, good, not so good, trash, and never used. So the first power forward, I believe, is Tim Duncan. Yep, Timmy. So as we all know, Timmy is one of the is not one is the best power forward in the game. So Timmy can shoot, rebound, play defense, all of that. And to me, his stats is pretty fair. The only thing that I'll say is he has a 3 in playmaking. So you would definitely have to boost that. So I'll put him in a great slot. And then after that, we got Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp, I love playing with Sean Kemp just for his defense and his rebounding. He also has a good offensive game as well. So, and his stats is pretty fair in the game. So I'll put him in the great slot as well too. Do not have nothing bad to say about Sean Kemp. And then after that, we got Jalen Johnson. I don't think I've ever used this card or use him in the game, so he'll go in a never use slot. And then after that, we got Paolo Banchero. Paolo is a very good young player. He can score the basket. He's very tall too, so he can score the basket. He can play defense. His stats is pretty fair in the game. He has a 4 in playmaking, so you will have to definitely boost his playmaking. He has a 4 in defending as well. You have to boost that, and he can shoot the 3 too. So you'll have to boost his 3-point shot and his mid range because it's all 4. So I'll put him in the almost great slot. And then we got oh no, I moved that. And then we got Antonio McDyess. I actually pulled this card from the drills reward when this first team had launched the first day, and I must say that this card is pretty dope. Antonio McDyess is pretty dope. He can play defense, he can rebound the ball. Not one of my favorite point guards, but I'll put him in the good slot. I mean, not point guards, power forwards. My bad, I'm sorry. And then we got Laurie Markkinen. Laurie Markkinen is also another good power forward. I haven't played with him much in this game, but he can definitely shoot. His playmaking is a 3 in the game, so you'll have to definitely boost that. He has a 5 in 3-point shot and a 5 in mid range and a 4 in layups and dunks. You'll also have to boost his strength and agility and his defending. So I'll put him in the good slot. And then we have Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is also one of my favorite power forwards in this game. He can rebound. I don't use him that much for scoring, but I use him for more on the offensive and defensive boards. So he can definitely rebound the ball. So let me look at his stats. His stats is pretty fair. He has a 4 in playmaking, a 3 in 3-point shot. His layups and dunks is a 5, and his strength and agility is 4. So you'll more than likely want to boost his strength and agility and his shooter of the dribble, which is a 4 as well. So I'll put him in the good slot. And then we got Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. also a good power forward. I use him for defense as well. He has a 5 in defending and a 5 in layups and dunks, and a 5 in mid range, 4 in shoot of the dribble. I'll put him in the good slot. None of these power forwards is actually on my top list, but I won't put them trash or below. I mean, not so good or below. So I'll put him in a good slot. So I'll put him in a good slot. And then we have Pascal Siakam. Siakam, he's alright in this game. I've used him a few times. Definitely not one of my favorite power forwards. His shot can be a little streaky, so I'll put him in a not so good. And then we have Willis Reed. Willis Reed, he has a 3 in playmaking, 4 in layups and dunks, 5 in mid-range shot, and 3 in 3-point shot. His defending is a 5. I don't think I've played with him that much, but looking at his stats, I don't think that he's that bad of a player. So I'll put him in the not so good slot just because I haven't had that much experience with him. And then we got Larry Nance Sr. I have not played with Larry Nance Sr. at all, so he's going to never use. And then we have Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is definitely a good point guard. One of my favorite power forwards to play within NBA 2K Mobile. Not on the top of my list, but he's definitely up there. So I'll put him in the almost great as well. He's a very good defender as well. And he can dunk the ball and rebound and all of that. And then we have after Aaron Gordon, we have Trace Jackson Davis. Never played with this card. He's probably new to the game. Alright. And then we have Kevin Love, it looked like. No, not Kevin Love. We have Dean Wade. Never played with Dean Wade either. Oops. And then after Dean, we have Rui Hachimura. Rui is pretty solid. He has a 3 in playmaking, 4 in defending, 4 in 3-point shot. Not one of my favorite power forwards. So I'll definitely put him in the not so good slot. And then we have Nicholas Batum. I think his original position, if I'm not mistaken, is small forward. I can't remember, but he's a power forward in this team. So I played with Nicholas before. He has a pretty good 3-point shot. I don't really have much to say about him, but he's a good player. I'll put him in the good slot. And then we have Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is definitely one of the greatest power forward as well too. He can definitely shoot the outside shot. He can get to the rim. He can rebound. He can play defense. All of that. So I'll definitely put him in the great. And then we have Spencer Haywood. I've never played with Spencer Haywood, so not used. Must be new to the game. Then we have Dirk. It looked like Dirk. Dirk is definitely up there. We all know Dirk for his shooting threes and his mid-range. They have a very good mid-range game and outside game. Definitely one of my favorite point guards to play with in NBA 2K Mobile, so I'll put him in the great slot as well. And after Dirk, we have Elvin Hayes. I don't think I've ever played with Elvin Hayes, so he's going to never use slot. And then let's see, is that Draymond Green? Draymond Green. I've used Draymond before. Draymond He's a very undersized power forward, but he can defend. Draymond is like a point forward. They use if you ever watch the Warriors, they use him as a point forward. So he brings the ball up the court. He officiate the offense pretty much. He has a 6 in playmaking on this card. This is dope. I think the last Draymond card his playmaking wasn't that high, so they definitely boosted that. He has a 3 and 3-point shot. He can definitely knock down a 3. His mid range is a 3 in this game. His layups and dunks is a 4, so he'll definitely have to boost that. I'll put Draymond in the almost great. And then we have the Montes Sabonis. I like the Montes Sabonis defense, and he can definitely knock down the 3. Not up there as one of my favorite power forwards, but I'll put him in a good slot. And then we have Jerry Lucas. I don't think I've ever played with Jerry Lucas in this game, so I'll put him in a never used. And then we have Antoine Walker. Antoine Walker has a 5 in playmaking, a 4 in defending, a 5 in rebounding, and a 2 in mid range. I don't think I've ever played with Antoine Walker like that in this game, but just by watching him in real life, he was a good player. So I'll put him in the in the good slot. And then we have Lamar Odom. To me, Lamar Odom's shot is kind of streaky in this game. He has a 5 in 3-point shot and a 5 in playmaking, 5 in rebounding. He can definitely, do some stuff on the defensive end, but not one of my favorite power forwards. So I'll have to rank him in the good slot. And then we have after Lamar. Hold up. Alright. Julius Randle. Julius Randle can be good when he wants to be good. Yeah, pretty much. He has a 4 in playmaking, a 4 in 3-point shot, 5 in mid range, 4 in layups and dunks, 4 in defending. He can be good when he wants to be good. I can't rank him that high, so I'll probably have to put him in the not so good. Like I said, he could be good when he wants to be good. And then we have look like Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, Kyle Kuzma. Never really played with Kyle Kuzma. His stats is pretty much 4 and everything. I'll have to put Kyle in a never used slot. And then we have the big ticket. KG is definitely one of the top power forwards in NBA 2K Mobile. KG2 is also is also like a point forward to me. He can shoot, he can rebound, he can play defense, everything. So he's going in a great slot. And then we have the mailman Karl Malone. I love Karl Malone defense in this game. He can rebound, he can block, he can also score. I don't think he's one of my top power forwards, but I've used him multiple times and he's pretty good. So I'll put him in the almost great. And then we have Giannis, the Greek freak. Giannis is definitely one of my top power forwards to use in NBA 2K Mobile. Even though his 3-point shot is not that good, he can rebound, he can play defense. He's also like a point forward too. So I'll put him in the great. And then who do we have after that? We have Horace Grant. I don't think I really used Horace Grant. Horace Grant have a 2 in playmaking here. He have a 4 in defending. 3 in 3-point shot, 5 in mid range. I'm pretty sure he can defend. Uh, just because I haven't really used him like that, I'll put him in the good slot. But I know that he's good because I've played with him a couple times, but not that much. And then after him, we have Jared Vanderbilt. I don't think I've ever played with Jared. Nah, I can't remember. I had to think for a minute. And then after Jared, we have Jalen Wilson. Never played with Jalen Wilson either. Never used slot. And then we have Bobby Portis Jr. He has a 3 in playmaking, a 5 in 3-point shot, 4 in defending, a 5 in strength, 4 in layups. So 2 in mid range. I can't remember ever playing with him, but his stats is pretty fair. But I'll put him in a not so good slot. And then we have Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has a 3 in rebounding, a 3 in playmaking, a 3 in defending. To me, as a power forward, the defending and rebounding is pretty low on this card. He has a 2 in mid range, a 5 in mid range, and a 5 in 3-point shot, and a 4 in layups. I'll have to put Tobias not so good, but he is a good power forward. I've used him multiple times. And then we have Zion Williamson. He has a 3 in defending, a 4 in playmaking, a 4 in rebounding, 4 in 3-point shot, 5 in post scoring, 5 in layups and dunks. We all know that's what he can do. 5 in agility. Never really used Zion like that, but he's pretty solid. I'll put him in the good slot. And then we have Jaden McDaniels. I don't think I've ever used him. And then we have Grant Williams. Grant Williams, 4 in defending, 4 in rebounding, 4 in strength and agility. Pretty much 4 for everything except 3-point shot. Yeah, he can knock it down. I don't think I've ever used him like that either. But he's not trash to me. So I'll put him in a not so good slot. All right. And then we have Chris Boucher. I don't think I've ever used Chris Boucher. So after that we have Dorian Finney-Smith. I've never used Dorian in this game either. And then after that we have Ted James Salon. I've used him probably like once or twice when this team was live. The rookie team was live. I've pretty good defender, but not one of my top power forwards. So I'll probably put him in the not so good. And then we got who do we have after that? We have Tristan De Silva. Never used Tristan De Silva in this game, and his stats are pretty low. So I'll have to put him in the never used slot. Darren Holmes II. Never used Darren either. And then we got AD, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a very good power forward in this game. His stats is pretty good. He has a 5 in defending, 5 in rebounding, agility of 5, layups and dunks are also a 5. The only stats you'll probably have to boost for AD is his 3-point shot and his playmaking. I'll put him as in the great slot because I use AD a lot in this game as well too. Where did the card go? Alright. After AD, who do we have? Phil Jackson. I've used Phil Jackson probably like 3 times since this is probably the only card that we have for Phil in this game, I think. So he's new, and I don't know if we'll ever get another Phil Jackson card. But this card I've used for just defensive purposes. Very good rebounder. You like the stat that you'll have to boost is his playmaking for sure, his defending and rebounding. And if you want to use him on offense, you boost his layups and dunks. You can also boost his agility and strength. And then probably his shoot off the dribble, but I'll put him in the not so good slot. And then we have that look like Kevin Love, yeah. Kevin Love has a 3 in playmaking, a 3 in defending, 5 in 3-point shot. He can definitely knock it down. Kevin Love is like a playmaker. He's also like a point forward as well too. Never really. Can't remember the last time I've used K Love, but he's definitely good in this game. So I'll put him in a good slot. And after K Love, we have who's that? We have Marcus Morris Sr. He has 3 in playmaking, 3 in defending. That will definitely need boosting. Those two stats. 4 in rebounding, 4 in strength and agility, 4 in layups and dunks. I think I've used more Marcus Morris Sr. Probably like no more than 3 times. He's not a popular power forward, and I don't think all his cards are probably like low tier cards. So I'll probably put him in a not so good slot. And then we have Dennis Rodman. Okay, so we have Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is also one of my favorite power forwards for his height. He can rebound. I don't use Dennis Rodman. Most of these power forwards, I never use them for offensive purposes. I just use them for defense, grabbing rebounds, and getting shot blocks. That's that's what I use for most of my power forwards. Dennis Rodman, he can definitely rebound. He can get a putback dunk every now and then too. So I'll put him in the, just because I love to use him, I'll put him in the almost great slot. And then we have oh no, this card go back down here. And then we have Robert Horry. Robert Horry, as we all know, Robert Horry can knock down the 3. That's what he's known for. He has a playmaking in this game. His playmaking is 3. He has defending a 4, mid-range 4, layups 4, shoot off the dribble 4. I don't think that's his original position, power forward. I'm not sure, but if I'm using Robert Horry, it's definitely as a spot-up shooter. So I'll put him in the good slot. And then after Robert Horry, we have Udonis Haslem. I've used UD before. UD has a 2 in playmaking, a 3 in defending, 4 in mid-range and layups and dunks, and a 3 in shoot off the dribble. UD he's like a spot up shooter, and he's known for his defending as well. He could get rebounds and maybe a put back here and there too, but he's definitely more known for his defending. I'll put him in a good slot. And then we have Gigi Jackson, right? That's his name? Yeah, Gigi Jackson the second. Gigi Jackson the second. When I've used this card on multiple occasions when this 7-day season 7-day of the Dead Team was live. I've used him. He's pretty good, but I'll put him on the not so good. He's not one of my favorite power forwards, and I think he's new in the game as well. And then who do we have after that? We have Kevin Looney. I've never used Kevin Looney in this game. And then we have Bob Pettit. I've used him. He has a 5 in defending. He can definitely defend. I don't think his offensive game is that much of a good. But I've used him. He's pretty solid, but I'll put him in the definitely not one in my top. I'll put him in the not so good slot. And then after that, who do we have? Carlos Boozer. We have Carlos Boozer. He can defend. He has a good outside shot as well. But not one of my favorite power forwards. So I'll put him in the not so good slot. And then we have, I think, Obi Toppin. I don't think I've ever used. Yeah, I'm lying. I've used Obi in this game. He was pretty good defender. So I'll put him in the not so good slot just because I have not one of my favorites, but definitely solid for what I'm using it for as far as defending. And then we have Herbert Jones. I don't think I've ever used Herbert Jones in here. And then after Herbert Jones, Andre Karolinko. I don't think I've used Andre Karolinko in this game. His stats is pretty fair. He has a 4 in 3-point shot, 4 in playmaking. He can look like he can rebound. He has a 5 in mid range. But because I had never used him, I'm gonna have to put him in a never used slot. And then we have John Collins. John Collins have a 2 in playmaking, a 4 in defending, 5 in layups and dunks, 4 in mid range. I've used John. John is pretty solid in this game once you boost his stats, but not one of my favorite power forwards, so he'll go in a not so good slot. And then after John, we have Chris. No, I think I already used Chris Boucher. Yeah, I already have him. I don't know how I got him twice in the thing. So that card will stay down there. Elton Brand at power forward. I've played with Elton Brand at center, but he's at power forward here. For Elton, he the same thing. Defending. For defense purposes, rebounding, shot blocking. So I'll put him in the So I'll put him in the good slot. And then after Elton Brand, Larry Johnson. I don't think I've played with Larry Johnson, so he's gonna never use slot. Amari Stoudemire. Don't get a lot of cards either. He's one of those that don't get a lot of cards, and if he do, it's not high tier like that. I can't remember the last time we had an event reward card for Amari, but he's pretty good. He has a 4 in defending and a 5 in rebounding and 5 in mid-range and layups and dunks. So I'll put him in a good slot. And he plays center as well, I believe. And then after Amari, who do we have? We have Wayman Tisdale. Never played with Wayman Tisdale in this game. We have Joe Smith. Have I played with Joe Smith? I think I have, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think right quick. I can't remember. So he's gonna never use that. Then we have Drew Gooden. Drew Gooden has a 2 in playmaking, 3 in defending, and a 5 in rebounding. I'll put him in the not so good slot. I played with him a couple times. He's pretty decent. Then we have Brandon Clark. He's a pretty solid power forward. I won't say he's one of my favorites. I won't rank him that high, but he's pretty good. He has a 4 in defending, and a 3 in 3-point shot, 4 in mid-range, 4 in layups, 4 in shoot off the dribble. So I'll put him in the not so good slot. And then after Clark, we have Marvin Bagley the third. I don't think I've ever played with him. Alright, and then we have Kenyon Martin. His stats is pretty fair. He has a 4 in defending. What you might want to boost his playmaking. He has a 3 in 3-point shot and 4 in mid-range. You may want to boost his playmaking in mid-range. But not one of my favorites, so I'll put him in the not so good slot. And then the last but not least, we have Dort. Nugent Dort, however you pronounce his first name, from OKC. Dort, he's pretty good. Played with him a couple of times. Definitely not one of my top power forwards to use, but his stats is pretty fair. He has a 5 in defending, a 4 in playmaking, a 5 in 3-point shot, and 4 in layups and mid-range, and a 4 in shoot off the dribble. But I'll put him in a not so good slot. And there you have it, guys. Those are the rankings for the power forwards in NBA 2K Mobile. So, as you know, this is just based off of my experience and personal opinions. You know, it could be different for you guys because sometimes we all use different cards. But like I said, you know, if you guys have a different of opinion, just drop it in the comments below. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. And I'll have the what today is Friday the 7th. I'm recording this, so I'll have this up sometime next week. I have the small forward coming on Monday, which is the 10th, so look out for that one. And this one will drop probably later on in the week. And then the center, I'll drop that one the week after, and that'll be it for this mini series. But anyways, that's it. I'm out. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.